Hey, hello children. Good morning everyone. And this is Priya, your English teacher from Alpha Group of Institutions. And children, this is the second part of lesson 8 after 20 years. I think first part we have discussed in the last session about two friends who met in a cold winter season at a night near a restaurant doorsteps, right? So I think you have remembered the first part. Before starting the second half, let us summarize the first half again. So this after 20 years lesson, this is a short story written by whom? O. Henry. Written by O. Henry about two best friends, Jimmy Wells and Bob, who decided to go down different paths and make a pact to meet at the same place after 20 years. And Bob lives New York. It means West, as we may have mentioned in the lesson. Isn't it? In last session, we were discussing that a policeman was coming rounds, and one friend went to the west to in search of his luck. Bob leaves New York to go try his luck in the west, and Jimmy decides to stay and becomes a cop. Isn't it? Yeah. Now the story opened last. If in the last session we have discussed, like the story opens with a cop, is a policeman walking around the deserted streets of New York in the evening, doing his duty and checking the locks of every like houses, establishments and business that he passed by, like on the streets in his area which he was allotted to do. And while he was in the rounds, he finds a man standing in the doorway of a hardware store. The man has an unlit cigar. His cigar was not lit. He was just keeping the cigar in his mouth. No, not mouth, in his hand. And on inquiring, he tells the cop that he is waiting for an old friend who he had promised to meet at the very place, like that he told that he was waiting to meet his friend, like as they had promised 20 years before going to west. These two friends promised to meet after 20 years the same place where the hardware store is now. And he tells the cop that he is waiting for Jimmy Wells. He's waiting for Jimmy Wells. Like he tells the cop that he's waiting for the man who is standing near the doorsteps. He's telling that he's waiting for Jimmy Wells, his old friend. Like they were almost like a brother with whom he had spent the golden years of their childhood. And he also explained the cop that how these two friends enjoyed their childhood days, not only like a friends but like a brotherhood. And while talking to the cop, this man who was standing near the door, I mean that hardware shop door, this man lights his cigar, and in that small spark, in that brief illumination, a small spark of light, the cop notices, this policeman notices that the man has a pale face and he is having a scar near his right eyebrow and sharp eyes. These are the identifications which this cop identified when he was talking with the policeman. When with this, I mean the man who is standing near the shop, when he lit the cigar, we know the small fire will comes in that light. This policeman, he just noticed all these things, like the man has a pale face and he's having a scar near his right eyebrow, and he is having a very sharp eyes. And the glint of a diamond on the man's scar tells a lot about his riches. And when he pulled off his diamond studded watch to check the time. So when even when he was looking like that, he's having a diamond on that scarf. The man who is standing is wearing a diamond thing, like a button thing on his scarf. And when he was checking the time, the policeman here watches now that the watch which the man is wearing is full of diamond studded. Then we can know, like he estimated the richness of the man who is saying how rich he might be, as he was having everything in diamonds. And the cop commented that he must have done really well in the west. As if, yeah, I think you are a very big success man. That's why I think you have a luck that you have achieved your goal. Like this, the comment this cop has started like commenting on this man. The man boasts like that he has like he wishes that his plodder friend has done at least half of what he has achieved. When the cop is asking that you have achieved more, now this man is saying that I wish that even my friend might have also achieved what I have done, minimum at least half of what I have achieved. And he is sure, this man is very sure that his friend, if he is alive, he will definitely meet him as promised. And no matter what, for his friend is the truest, the strangest old chap in the world. And the cop goes on his way because the rain starts to fall and the man keeps waiting. All the people started walking on the streets, like all this going to their houses because of this cold weather and rains. The streets started becoming empty. After a few minutes, a man arrives there and introduces himself as Jimmy. Bob is happy to find his friend and both men shares pleasantries or pleasantries. So, children, these are the things which we had discussed in the last session, right? Now, let us discuss the second half of the lesson. Okay. Is it you, Bob? He asked doubtfully. Is it you, Jimmy Wells? Cried the man in the door. Bless my heart! Exclaimed the new arrival, grasping both the other hands with his own. It's Bob, sure as fate. I was certain I would find you here if you were still in existence. Well, 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 20 years is a long time, the old gone Bob. I wish it had lasted, so we could have had another dinner there. How has the West treated you, old man? So now, when the man crosses the door and reaches the man who is standing near the door, this man is saying, is that you, Bob? Is that you? Your name is Bob? This man is asking. And that man who is standing near the door is saying, yes, is that you, Jimmy Wells? I'm Bob, right? Is that you, Jimmy? He's crying with happiness. And he was really not able to. So when he was not able to believe his eyes that he found his friend there. Sure, they started shaking their hands, they holded their hands, and they were just sharing how they had spent these 20 years without seeing them, and now they were expecting like to have another dinner there, and they were just inquiring about their past in the, I mean, all these 20 years how they had spent, isn't it? Okay, now bully, it has given me everything I asked it for. You have changed lots, Jimmy. I never thought you were so tall by 2 or 3 inches. Oh, I grew a bit after I was 20. Doing well in New York, Jimmy. Now, Bob is asking that. Yeah, I'm okay. I went in search of my luck for my future to the West, and now I got everything what I need. And I think, Jimmy, you also have changed a lot. And another thing is, I never thought you might have been like you have grew taller, 2 to 3 inches taller than me. I never expected this, Jim. The Bob is saying that. Now the Jim is saying that. Jimmy is saying, yes, after 20 years only, I have started growing this much height. And are you doing well? And I'm doing well in New Year, Jim. And this fellow is asking, are you doing well in New Year, Jimmy? So when they're talking about the height, when Bob asked about the height, Jimmy said, "Yes, I have grew a little bit when I reached after 20. When I reached my 20s age." Now Bob is asking, "Are you okay? Are you doing very well in New Year, Jimmy?" Now, moderately, I have a position in one of the city departments. Come on, Bob. We will go around to a place I know of and have a good long talk about old times. And Jimmy is saying that when Bob is asking, are you doing well in New York? Jimmy is saying, yes, moderately, not very well or not poor. I'm I'm doing well moderately. And I got a position. I am working as a police. I got a position in one of the city department. And now Jimmy is asking Bob, let us go around and let us have a little talk. He wants to talk about something like their friendship. So Jimmy is asking Bob to have a walk around. Two men started up the street, arm in arm. The man from the west, his egotism enlarged by success, was beginning to outline the history of his career. The other, submerged in his overcoat, listening with interest. At the corner stood a drugstore, brilliant with electric lights. When they came into this glare, each of them turned simultaneously to gaze upon the other's face. The man from the west stopped suddenly and released his arm. You're not Jimmy Wells, he snapped. 20 years is a long time, but not enough long to change a man's nose from a Roman to a pug. Now, these two friends started holding hands arm in arm and they started walking in the streets. As you all know, kids, it is a winter night, no? So it is all dark, all the streets were cleared, everybody were settled in their homes because of this chillness. And these two friends were walking around the streets arm in arm and talking about their past and how they had reached their goals, how they had survived, how they had struggled, all their things they were discussing, both friends. This Bob is telling his success story to Jim, and Jimmy is listening to everything when he is just closing his face in the overcoat. As they were walking, there they came across a drugstore. A drugstore means a very big shop. The shop is full of lights. So when they walked and reached the store, there they can see their faces clearly. When they saw their faces clearly in the light, now Bob got angry because when they both started looking their faces clearly. Now Bob got suddenly angry. He just released his arm from Jimmy's arm and he's just saying, "You are not Jimmy." And he gave a snap to Jimmy. Bob gave a snap to Jimmy. He slapped him and said, "You are not Jimmy." Even though 20 years is a very long time, but this time will not change a man's nose, first of all. So you are not Jimmy, you are trying to treat me. He got angry and he just snapped that man. Now, it sometimes changes a good man into a bad one, said the tall man. You have been under arrest for 10 minutes, Silky Bob. Chicago thinks you may have dropped over our way and Wire says she wants to have to chat with you. Going quietly, are you? That's sensible. Now, before we go on to the station, here is a note I was asked to hand you. You may read it here at the window. It's from Patrolman Wells. Now, this tall man is agreeing. Yes, even though 20 years is over, as you said that the nose of a man will not change, but in these 20 years is it has enough time to change a good man into a bad man. Because now Bob said Jimmy that you're not Jimmy. 20 years is so long time, I agree. But this much long time will not change a man's nose. Because there is some changes in the man's faces. He's not looking like a Jimmy. Now Jimmy is saying that of course maybe 20 years is not enough to change a man's face. But 20 years is more than enough to change a good man into a bad man. This fellow is saying, because you are already under arrest 10 minutes ago. Silky Bob, he is mentioning Silky Bob because he's saying that you might be, let us hope that this Silky Bob is like a criminal. He's a robbery person. Let us keep him as a criminal or robbery person. He was just escaped from other place to here. So this man is saying we had already know you and it's very sensible to talk with you. It's really sensible to talk with you. But before we have got arrested 10 minutes back. But before we go to the station, I want you to give you a letter which I was asked to hand over you. A person gave me a letter and asked me to give this letter to you. So before we go to the station, in this light itself, in this brightness, you better read this letter here itself. The tall man is asking Bob to read that letter. And he's also asking that you may read it here at the window because here the brightness is well enough to read this letter, and this letter was given by that patrolman Wells. We all know no one cop first he came and spoke with this man near the drugstore door, and later he went, isn't it? That cop only asked this tall man to give this letter to Bob to read. Let us see what is there. The man from the west unfolded the little piece of paper handed him. His hand was steady when he began to read, but it trembled a little by the time he had finished. The note was rather short. It means the man who is from the west, when he is opening that little paper, his hands are really steady. He is not afraid of anything. But after when he was about to finish reading the letter, his his hands started like shivering, trembling little by little, because when he was not bold enough to read the complete the whole letter, because something is disturbing his mind mentally. And the note which was written in that was very short. That is, look, Bob, I was at the appointed place on time. When you struck the match to light your cigar, I saw it was the face of the man wanted in Chicago. Somehow I could not do it myself, so I went around and got a plainclothes man to do the job, Jimmy. Now, the friend who he was searching is that cop which we had discussed at the starting of the lesson, isn't it? We have talked about a cop who was going rounds in the street, right? That cop is Jimmy Wells. And when he found Bob, when the Bob lit the cigar, he knew that he found his friend. But his duty here, Jimmy Wells is a policeman and Bob is a criminal. So he can't continue his friendship with a criminal being a policeman, and he has to do his duty. So in this letter, he wrote that when I met you, friend, when I met you, I was in the appointed time because I was on my duty. When you struck the match, when you lit your cigar, I saw your face. But as soon as I saw your face, I remembered that you are the person who was on the wanted list in Chicago. I know that you are in the wanted list for the policeman in the Chicago. I understood and I saw and I remembered you. But as being a friend, I can't arrest you. I can't arrest you. So I can't do it myself. That is why I just came away and I have sent another policeman to do the job who was not in uniform. So this is where he's showing his loyalty in the friendship, as well as he is showing the like he's showing his duty towards being a policeman. So he recognized his friend as well as recognized the criminal also. Being a friend, he don't want to arrest with his hands. So he just gave this responsibility to another policeman to arrest Bob. And that is how Bob got arrested. Did you understand, guys? This is a short story about O. Henry. And children, this is your activity part. It is in textbook page number 45, 46 and 47. Okay. This is your homework today. In page number 45, already till Roman number D we had finished in the last session. And in this session, we will come to the language part. In the language part, you have to do Roman number A, B, not B, C and D. So your today's homework is Roman number A, C and D. It is just writing the verbs and adverbs. You all know what is verb and adverb. Adding ly, is adverb, isn't it? And if you read the table which is given in the 46, you can do this because adverbs and adjectives already I have explained you in the grammar session, and I hope you will conformly like you will do definitely this. So your homework is in page number 45, 46 and 47, that is language part, Roman A, Roman C and Roman D. This is your homework and activity part for today, and with this we have completed lesson 8, and half yearly exam is nearing. I hope everyone are thorough with your portions, and I'm expecting more from you. So I want you to read well, write well, and present well in the examinations. So with this, we have completed lesson 8, that is after 20 years, a very good short story and very good like a moral story. Okay, now let us end this session. And this is Priya signing off from Alpha Group of Institutions. Thank you, children, and stay safe. Goodbye.